Book of Heaven, Volume 32, April 9th, 1933. The divine love is so great that it reaches the point of exhausting itself in its works. Jealousy of the divine will, the little road of the creature within it. The divine will keeps extending around me and inside of me. The jealousy of its marvelous light is so great that it wants nothing to enter into me other than what belongs to it, so as to let the life of the divine will be fulfilled and grow in me, and to let me watch its divine ways, that I may copy them, being content with administering to me what is needed to be able to say to me.
The works of our daughter might be little, because the creature can never reach us, but they are modeled after our own and are similar to them.
But while my mind was following the light of the divine will, my sweet Jesus visiting my little soul, all love told me,
My daughter, only then can an act be called fulfilled when the one who operates exhausts in it everything that was needed in order to fulfill it. If anything is lacking or anything can be added, it can never be called a fulfilled work. Our way of operating has always been like this. We have exhausted everything, love, power, mastery, beauty, to render the work that came out of us full, perfect, complete. It is not that we deplete ourselves, because the Supreme Being is never depleted, but in that work that we have done, nothing more would fit in to render it complete. And if we had wanted to place more, that more which we might have placed would have been useless and of no advantage. And this we have done in the work of creation, of redemption, and of the designs of sanctity that we make for each creature. Who can say that something is lacking to creation? Who can say that our operating love did not exhaust itself in redemption, as it was so great that there are still interminable seas which the creatures can take and have not taken, and these seas overflow around them because they want to bring their fruit, hide them inside their waves, so that the love, the works, the infinite pains of the God humanate might take life in them. If we do not exhaust ourselves, we are not content. The exhausted love brings us rest and happiness, but if we have more to give and to do in our works, it renders us as though alert. We are all eyes. Our divine being is all in motion over what we are doing, to give so much, until it finds our act fulfilled with the fullness of our exhaustion. Now in creation and in redemption, there were no oppositions against our love, nor any impediment to our exhausting ourselves in order to render our works complete. Because we operated independently of anyone, no human will was involved that might prevent us from exhausting ourselves as we wanted. We suffer all the opposition on the part of creatures for each design of sanctity that we want to fulfill with them. And, oh, into what constraints they put us if the human will is not united with ours, if it does not abandon itself into our hands in such a way that we can handle it as we want, to give it the shape established by us, to fulfill our designs and so exhaust ourselves by forming our fulfilled act. We cannot give what we want, or only the crumbs, the sparks of our love, because the human will is always in act of rejecting us and of opposing us. Therefore, when we find a will that is willing, we abound. We overabound so much in giving as to place ourselves over her more than a mother over her child, to raise him beautiful and graceful, so as to make of him her glory, the honor of the child himself, and the good of the entire world. In the same way, we do not leave her one instant. We give always, not only to keep her occupied, but so as to give her no time to occupy herself with anything else, so that we may be able to say, everything is ours. We can exhaust ourselves over this creature. And since our love is demanding, with justice it wants her to place, in all her acts, everything she can, her love, the whole of her life, so as to be able to say, you have exhausted yourself for me so much so that I cannot contain what you have given me, and I too exhaust myself for you. And so she goes on modeling herself after our works, and she copies our divine acts. Here then, the jealousy of the divine will, the light that constantly beats on you, inside and outside of you, because it wants everything for itself, and it wants that your will, while you feel it alive, must have no life, so that mine may form its life in it and fulfill its divine acts, and so may boast of having given everything it wanted to give. I have exhausted myself in this creature, and she has exhausted herself for me. There is no happiness more pleasing, nor greater fortune than the exhaustion on both sides, God and the creature. But who produces all this good? An act of our will operating and fulfilled.
Then, after this, I continued my acts in the divine fiat, and following its acts, I arrived at Eden, where the divine love made me pause, and the sovereign Jesus added,
My blessed daughter, our divine being is most pure light, and our attributes as many suns, one distinct from the other, but unified together and inseparable, forming a circle around us. Now, in creating the creature, she was placed in these immense suns to form her little road. Now, who comes to form this little road? One who lives of our will. Our divine attributes line up to her right and to her left. They make room for her, to give her access and let her walk, to let her form her little road. And as she walks, she does nothing other than gather drops of light, with which she remains all studded, such that it is an enchantment to see her. So, she nourishes herself with light, the light embellishes her, and she knows nothing else, nor can she speak of anything else but light. My attributes press around her, and they love this creature as the apple of their eyes. They feel her life in them, and their life in her, and they take on the task of raising her as beautiful as they can, and of not letting her take one step outside of the road that they have formed for her within their interminable light. So one who lives in our will can be called the little road in the divine will. This in time, but in eternity, the road will not be little, but long, or rather, these creatures will never stop, because this light has no end, and they will always have some road to walk, to take new beauties, new joys, new knowledges of this light that never ends. Our love showed off more than ever in this Eden in creating man, and for the fulfillment of our display, and to keep him more safe, we formed for him the road to be covered within the light of our attributes. But he went out because he did not want to do our will. But our goodness was so great that it did not close this road, but left it open for anyone who wants to live only of divine will.
Fiat.